Hi, welcome to our Ash Wednesday 2023 Fireside Chat. We decided to call off church because of the weather. Interestingly enough, Judy was on social media 8 years ago. It was a Sunday and we were having the exact same thing. That time we decided to go ahead with it and we got all sorts of comments saying, hey, nobody's moving where we live. We're staying home. So we know there's no good way to win on this, but thank you for being gracious and let's take a look at an Ash Wednesday Fireside Chat message. My prayer for us this Lent is that it would be a time of rest for us. To use that, I want to take advantage of Jesus' promise in Matthew 11, where he says, "Come to me, you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." You go, great. How does that work? And he says, "Take my yoke upon you." Now, a yoke I knew was a farm implement. So I looked it up because I was raised in the city, not on a farm. Turns out there's two different kinds of yokes. There's a single yoke. And Lisa, if you can put the picture up, that'd be great. If you can't, let me just demonstrate it for you. It would be this U-shaped piece of wood that would fit up onto a piece of wood up here, and off that would come the chains and the ropes and stuff that would allow a draft animal to pull a plow. And some people see Jesus like that. They see him as a rule giver and a burden to bear. And they're kind of like, don't give me more. I'm already overburdened. But that can't be what Jesus is saying. But there's a clue. He says, learn from me. Well, a double yoke, one where two animals would be linked together. Well, one of the ways farmers used to use that was to teach. An inexperienced animal would be put next to an experienced animal. It would learn the ropes, literally, as the older animal showed it what to do. So what Jesus is offering us with this yoke offer is a connection to him. And I see in our text two good things that come from this. I don't know if you can hear that. My cats are having a little fracas just off camera here. So the first thing is when we're yoked with Jesus, it helps with the load. You and I aren't alone. Being yoked to Jesus means being connected to his power, Jesus' power, the Son of God, the King of the universe, the Lord of all. It's something to remember on Ash Wednesday when we put the sign of the cross on people's foreheads and we hear these words, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. That's a reminder to you and me, we're fully human. And it's also a reminder that Jesus, he's fully divine. So being connected to him allows us to call on his divine power. We're not alone in this. Let's just think of the most extreme example, facing death. When we lose somebody we love, without Jesus, it's lonely and it's actually a little terrifying because all we can think is we'll never see them again. But when we lose somebody trusting in the power of the resurrection, well, it's still sad, it's still lonely, but it's not without hope. The hope that we are going to see them again. So being connected, being yoked to Jesus, it helps us with the load end of life. But there's a second benefit of being yoked with Jesus. Jesus says, learn from me. And like I said, that double yoke was a teaching tool. The experienced hand would teach the novice. So just like connecting with Jesus gives us access to his power, connection with Jesus, being yoked to him, gives us options to gather from his wisdom how to navigate life. Because folks, let's face it, the challenges you and I face, they're rarely novel. Now, the technology changes, but the underlying human condition, that remains exactly the same. So being yoked from Jesus, we watch how he navigated those things. We learn from him. Let's just take a look at the simplest example I can come up with where Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. So then we look at the life of Jesus, what he did, and we do our best to copy him. Now, yeah, he's God, we're not. Our copy is going to be imperfect. But we still don't have to try to spend our time originating a new and novel response. We simply We go with what we see works from his life. Jesus says, take my yoke upon you, and you will find rest. This Lent, I hope we claim that promise. So join me in reading our Lenten book, You Are Never Alone by Max Lucado. It's a way to help us connect, to be yoked to Jesus. In this book, we're going to be going through the Gospel of John and the miracles of Jesus there. We're going to see not only God's power, but most importantly, his deep affection for us. So this coming Sunday, first Sunday in Lent, first chapter of the book. Hopefully the weather will cooperate with us. We'll get to see each other face to face then. But for this Lent, we're looking for rest, and Jesus offers it to us by being yoked to him. Connected to him helps us find power, gives us wisdom. He'll help us carry the load, and he'll teach us how to live well. Blessings to you on this Ash Wednesday. Stay warm, stay out, stay off the roads, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Blessings.